A White House staffer appears to run massive pro-Trump X account. But I do think there's something unethical about not disclosing to the hundreds of thousands of people that you are literally a paid operative of the president. We've got to talk about a White House advisor who was just exposed as being the secret mastermind behind a huge pro-MAGA anonymous Twitter account, Johnny MAGA, which I've seen a lot of posts from and kind of blends into the slop ecosystem that is dominated on Twitter, which I find still a very useful tool in terms of finding trending clips and topics, but like a sewage of like just right-wing extremism, because it's become an echo chamber. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of like liberals and progressives have ditched the platform and essentially ceded it to the right. And so they're just bouncing off of each other and getting more and more extreme. And there's like fake news spreading on there constantly. It's like actually a very unfortunate microcosm of everything that can go wrong inside an echo chamber. It's a similar phenomenon to what we've seen in like, well, old Twitter when it was dominated by like woke journalists and such, but also spaces like TikTok where people are in their echo chambers. Anyway, there is this huge account, and he was just exposed that this independent pro-MAGA influencer is actually just a White House staffer. So, yeah, not exactly transparency there. The transparency is not, in fact, in the room with us. And I think this is like an interesting story because it tells you something about like we need to be aware. People need to be aware and skeptical. And I'll get into more of this, of a lot of the like big accounts that are pushing narratives on them on social media that are not transparent about who they are, who's paying them, what posts are paid and promotional and which are not, and what conflicts of interest they may have. Anyway, here's the story from Wired. A White House staffer appears to run massive pro-Trump X account, a popular right-wing account that called a video depicting Barack and Michelle Obama as apes a masterpiece, well, lovely, appears to be run by a White House staffer, according to records reviewed by Wired. Hours after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis, the Trump administration was already working to shape the narrative. Official White House accounts flooded with social media with clips of burning flags and clashes between local and federal immigration agents, casting protesters, not the killing, as the story. Among the accounts amplifying that message was Johnny MAGA, a pro-Trump X account with nearly 300,000 followers. They're burning the American flag right now in Minneapolis, the anonymous account claimed, sharing a clip from the White House's official rapid response feed. And they really expect you to believe that I shot an innocent civilian. To its audience, Johnny MAGA looked like an independent voice, another outraged supporter in the MAGA media ecosystem. The account regularly boosts Trump's Truth Social posts and goes to bat for the administration, attacking Democrats like California Governor Gavin Newsom. But this isn't just a regular account. Johnny MAGA appears to actually be a White House staffer named Garrett Wade, who works for the Trump administration as a rapid response manager, helping to run the very same White House account his anonymous MAGA account amplifies. A phone number associated with Wade is linked to Johnny MAGA, according to a Wired review of publicly available records, and the connection was confirmed by a source close to the White House. Wade and the White House did not respond to requests for comment. I do find it funny how, like, this account was anonymous and he did not reveal his identity, but also clearly did not take very extravagant steps to preserve the anonymity of his account either. If they're like linked with the same phone number, yeah, this stuff is pretty easy to find out and verify. And I'm like, I understand why this guy would do this. He's a communications professional and wants to be able to shape the discourse and everything. But I do think there's something unethical about not like disclosing to the hundreds of thousands of people who are coming to you for news and information and perspectives that you are literally a paid operative of the president and also running the same accounts that you are promoting. Like there's just a tremendous conflict of interest there that if you're, an honest person, you should be upfront about. And the other aspect of this as well is that public officials, like this guy is paid by taxpayers, I believe, as part of the White House's actual staff. And so for him to be posting anonymously things that are very controversial, like, calling the ape video a masterpiece, actually, I think publicly employed people should be responsible for the things they say. whether you agree with it or not, right? Like and we should be able to hold them accountable. And when they're posting about on anonymous accounts, we can't really hold them accountable. So that's also a problem for me. And I've got to say, like, this is just one example, but I think this is a broader phenomenon than people realize. A lot of these accounts online are not who they say they are, right? These huge accounts that are posting about American politics are actually run by some dude in Malaysia who's covered by ants. Like there is and as somebody who operates in this business and is behind the scenes, people are constantly posting stuff that is, to me, having seen the offers and having seen behind the scenes, like the emails that go out and stuff, obviously paid posts that are not disclosed. So I just see posts all the time that are not properly disclosed as ads when they are in fact ads, or you can tell they've been disseminated a list of talking points that someone is paying them to post, and they are just kind of blending it in as part of their normal content. And I feel like that's so dishonest, but so widespread and so pervasive. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing promotional content. I've done it myself, but it needs to be clear and transparent and disclosed. And a lot of this is not. And then I also really, I mean, there's some exceptions where I think anonymity can be valuable on the internet, but generally speaking, it's not great to be getting information or opinions from people who are unwilling or unable to attach their names to it, because there's something about that should give you pause. And I think everybody needs to exercise a significant larger degree of skepticism and critical thinking about the slop they're consuming on the internet. And that applies to me as well, but I think, try to be more diligent. And in fairness, like, I come from this world, so I have knowledge and tools to kind of analyze it that your average person doesn't have. And so I'm not blaming people for that, but I do think they need to be cognizant of it. Finally, here, one final piece from this article from Wired. The operator of the Johnny MAGA account has not disclosed an official relationship with the White House while operating the account. We already touched on that. But multiple media outlets, including Mother Jones, Town Hall, and the New York Post, have all linked out to posts on the Johnny MAGA account, seemingly as organic reflections of public sentiment on political issues. That's part of the problem. Like, that's part of why this is unethical. So, like, what they're saying here in this, and I 1000% think this is true, you'll go to like articles that are reporting on what Trump supporters are saying online, and they're trying to accurately gauge public opinion and what, people who are not literally the candidates themselves are saying. And they're citing these big accounts that are actually secretly like sock puppet accounts for the candidate. So they are causing media misinformation to go out. Now, you could say like these reporters should be maybe doing more due diligence, but they don't have time to check every single account and verify its true ownership and authenticity. And they're on deadlines, and they have to farm for these content mill websites that put out all these articles constantly and are pressuring them for more and more. So I have some sympathy for them as well. Yeah, I just think this is all a serious, serious problem, and that people should be honest about this kind of thing, not simply just skirt over it, pretend it's not happening, cover it up. Like, that's worse. It's fine to run multiple accounts, and it's fine to have alts and to have different brands and different, but like, just when people are are lying to you or being secretive like this, that's a red flag. That's not normal. That's not acceptable behavior in media and in social media. And you would never accept it from traditional media sources, right? Like, you'd never turn on the TV and listen to cable news from an anonymous host, right? You'd never read reporting that has no bylines, like no reporters attached. You have no idea who the people are telling you things. But somehow in social media, we've just like accepted that as something normal or okay that we do. Like, oh, breaking news about something from Johnny MAGA. Who the hell is Johnny MAGA? Maybe you should ask and wonder what his angle is, who's paying him. And of course, there's like many examples of this in either direction and going the other way as well. It's not some unique phenomenon or scandal. That only applies to Republicans. Lots of Democratic operatives and progressive influencers are doing this kind of thing. I see undisclosed progressive content all the time where they have so clearly, these influencers who never talk about politics are suddenly making a video about the SAVE Act or about the case before the Supreme Court that could change everything. And it's like they've so clearly been sent a list of talking points and paid to post a video by the ACLU or one of these other activist groups, and they just don't disclose it. And it's like, I really find that concerning, because how are people supposed to know what's true, what's accurate and reliable information versus what's paid propaganda when it's not disclosed? And it's also illegal, by the way. Like, it's against federal law to not disclose paid posts like that. It just isn't really enforced, and and it's against the terms of services of these different websites as well, like Instagram and like TikTok, but they just don't really enforce it with any regularity. I don't know, guys. Also, anytime you see somebody, just so you know this, anytime you see somebody just casually pulling up Polymarket or Kalshi and reading to you about that, like, oh, while we're talking about this story, let's look at the Polymarket or the Kalshi, or it's just included in Instagram Reel, that is probably a paid ad by them, which is fine, but it should be disclosed as such, and they don't do that, and that's a problem. Many of them don't do that.